Good morning, and thank you for joining me for your morning shot, where every morning we take just a moment to reflect upon the wisdom of various industry leaders, thinkers, and innovators to guide our day. Let's get to it. I'm a big fan of not making the same mistakes as others that have faced this same exact situation before. Now, that doesn't mean I'm very good at it, but definitely not a fan. So my attempt for combating this habit is I try to absorb as much wisdom and experience as I can from the best and brightest that came before me. The great thing about books and the vast amount of information available on the internet is you have access to an infinite number of mentors. Pick a person you respect and admire, and the World Wide Web can provide you with more than you could ever imagine in the way of biographies, quotes, publications, and so on. One individual I like to consider a mentor of mine, he's known as the Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett. You can expect to hear a lot from what I've learned from Mr. Buffett in many more Fridays to come. He's exceptional at expressing immense amount of wisdom in only a few words. Remember, the Friday morning shots are all about how we manage our money that we work so hard for. So what does one of the wealthiest men in the world have to say about this subject? He's got a great quote and it goes just like this. If you buy things you do not need, soon you will have to sell things you need. Let me repeat that. If you buy things you do not need, soon you will have to sell things you need. I've been a slave to this habit my entire career. Look, I don't come from money, so when things go bad, I never had anything to fall back on. Temptation has entered my life many times. I've been blessed to excel in sales, and with that, of course, comes great financial reward. Friends and colleagues that have excelled themselves drove nice cars, had fancy watches, and garnered memberships to local country clubs reserved solely for high society. Comparing my life to theirs made it very easy for me to want to join them in their life of luxury. But I was lucky I had one thing going for me, a real fear of going back to the humble beginnings for which I came from. For a long time I lived as though I was impoverished, though my finances didn't necessitate it. Many times I was the butt of friendly jokes. But I continued to put money aside in various forms of investments and savings. Because remember, only when the tide goes out do you discover who's been swimming naked. When the tide went out in 2008, it became apparent how many of my friends were in fact swimming naked, behind the facade of tailored suits and expensive homes, and in some cases, homes they had to ultimately sell for acquiring the basic clothing to cover themselves up. My financial habits have allowed me to no longer live in that same fear. Following Mr. Buffett's advice, I found that the years of financial responsibility relative to my income have finally brought me to the point where I can indulge a little bit for myself and my family. But this didn't happen my first year, or even my second. I had to put my pride aside and remember that there is no benefit to comparing others' highlight reels to my behind-the-scenes footage. I'm grateful today for the way I was raised. I'm grateful for what the universe has blessed me with and the challenges I've overcome. I appreciate you joining me. Hopefully you can find a way to apply your shot into today. Until tomorrow, have a better day today than yesterday.